It is 3 in the morning and you are lying awake doing mental math about whether your retirement savings will actually last. You have been told to save, invest, and build wealth your entire working life. But here is what nobody warned you about. The real danger is not saving too little. It is buying the wrong assets once you finally have money to invest. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which 6 assets are quietly destroying retirement wealth and what wealthy people buy instead. I'm going to show you the specific mistakes that separate comfortable retirements from financially stressed ones. My name is Ivan, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, compound interest, and why some people retire with freedom while others retire into financial anxiety. If you are someone who wants to understand how wealth building really works in retirement instead of just hoping for the best, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it ends up helping you see money differently. Think about retirement planning like a final exam. You spent 40 years studying, you saved diligently, you invested consistently, then you get to retirement and fail the test because you bought the wrong assets in the final stretch. Wealthy people understand something that struggling or retirees miss completely. The assets you avoid matter just as much as the assets you buy, maybe more. Asset number 1, rental properties. Owning rental properties is a trap that looks great on the surface but often turns into a nightmare in practice. Many retirees buy rental homes thinking they will create steady income, but they do not always factor in the effort, costs, or risks involved. Vacancies, unexpected repairs, and constant management needs can quickly eat up both your time and your money. Wealthier retirees take a different approach. They only invest in real estate if the numbers make sense. When they do, they often outsource management, so it runs like a business, not like a second job. Unfortunately, many struggling retirees underestimate what it really takes and get emotionally attached to the idea of owning property without running it through the financial lens. Let me give you a concrete example. A friend lives in Texas but owns a rental property in California. She has $550,000 in equity in the home. Her net rental income is $15,000 per year. I told her to think about it this way. If you wanted to generate $15,000 in income from investments each year, how big would your investment need to be? At a 4% withdrawal rate, it would take $375,000. That means if she sold the property and invested her $550,000 of equity, she could generate more than $15,000 per year without managing tenants, repairs, or dealing with California real estate. She would also have $175,000 of extra equity working for her. Here is a psychology shift. Experienced retirees view real estate as a business decision, not an emotional one. They calculate whether rental income justifies the capital tied up in the property. They factor in vacancies, repairs, property management, insurance, and taxes. They ask, what else could this money be doing for me? The consequence of emotional rental property decisions is time, and capital locked into underperforming assets that create stress instead of income. The action is running the numbers honestly. If the rental income does not justify the capital and effort involved, sell the property and invest in liquid assets that generate comparable returns without the headaches. Asset number 2, high-yield bonds. High-yield bonds create a different kind of risk. They tempt retirees into chasing income where it is least reliable. Retirees get excited about the yield. On paper, the promise looks simple. Higher interest payments, more income. But what many do not realize is these are called junk bonds for a reason. They are tied to companies with much higher chances of default. Here is the problem. Defaults often happen at the worst possible time, usually when the economy is weak and when people need income most. What seemed like a safe stream of cash flow can suddenly disappear, leaving you with losses and no way to replace that income. Let me show you the risk math. High-yield bonds might pay 7% when investment-grade bonds pay 4%. That 3% difference looks attractive, but during the economic stress, high-yield bonds can lose 20 to 30% of their value while defaults spike. You chase an extra 3% in yield and risk losing 30% of your capital when you need it most. Here is a smarter approach. Instead of chasing yield in risky corporate debt, focus on preservation, tax efficiency, and stability. Let stocks do the job of providing growth over time. Use high-quality, shorter duration bonds to provide safety and liquidity. Do not try to make bonds behave like stocks. Know the role each asset plays and let the portfolio work as a system. The consequence of chasing yield in junk bonds is capital loss, exactly when you need income stability most. The action is avoiding high-yield bonds in retirement portfolios. Stick with investment-grade bonds for stability and let equities handle growth. Asset number 3, actively managed funds. Actively managed mutual funds are another trap many retirees fall into. Retirees rely on advisor recommendations, often without realizing how much they are paying in embedded fees, management fees, trading costs, and commissions all eat into returns. After all of that, the majority of these funds still underperform the broad market. Let me show you the cost difference. An actively managed fund might charge 1.2% annually. A low-cost index fund charges 0.03%. On $500,000, that is $6,000 per year for active management versus $150 for passive indexing. Over 20 years, you pay $120,000 in fees for active management versus $3,000 for indexing. That $117,000 difference is money that could be compounding in your portfolio instead of paying fund managers who statistically underperform the market 85% of the time over 15-year periods. Wealthier retirees approach this differently. Instead of paying for active managers to try to beat the market, they use low-cost index strategies. Index funds have lower investment costs and reduced tax drag. They keep more money working inside the portfolio. Here's the principle. Struggling retirees pay for active management that rarely delivers. Wealthy retirees prioritize keeping more of their returns. That simple choice of controlling costs compounds over years and adds up significantly. The consequence of actively managed funds is wealth destroyed through fees and underperformance. The action is switching to low-cost index funds that keep more money working for you instead of paying managers. Asset number 4. Timeshares. On the surface, they look smart, a guaranteed way to have vacations every year. Many retirees buy into the idea that a timeshare is an investment in lifelong family memories, something that commits you to vacation annually and keeps travel costs under control. Here is the reality. Experienced retirees stay far away from timeshares because they know timeshares are not assets. They are liabilities. Once you sign up, you are stuck with hidden fees, special assessments, and exchange costs that pile up year after year. If you ever want to get rid of it, the resale market is practically worthless. Let me make this concrete. The average timeshare costs around $15,000 upfront with annual maintenance fees of $1,200 that increase every single year. Over 20 years, that is $24,000 in fees alone. Add the original purchase price and you have spent $39,000 on vacations you were forced to take at properties you were locked into. Here is the psychology shift that matters. Smart retirees prefer flexible travel. They rent where they want when they want. They keep their money liquid and working for them, not tied up in some contract that turns into another forced annual expense. They understand that in retirement, flexibility is worth more than guaranteed vacation weeks at the same resort. The consequence of buying a timeshare is simple. You lock up capital that could be generating returns, you commit to annual expenses that increase faster than inflation, and you destroy flexibility, which is one of your most valuable assets in retirement. The action here is equally simple. Avoid timeshares completely. Take that $15,000 and invest it in a simple index fund instead. Use the gains to fund flexible travel wherever and whenever you want without being locked into contracts and rising maintenance fees. Asset number 5. High-fee annuities. High-fee annuities take it a step further. On the surface, they sound attractive. Many retirees are drawn to the promise of guaranteed income. But the truth is, most people do not fully understand the fee structures hiding behind that promise. Wealthier retirees tend to avoid these products because they recognize the reality. Complicated restrictions, hefty commissions for the advisor, long-term returns that often fall short of expectations. It is not just the fees though. These contracts often come with surrender charges and limited liquidity, which means you cannot get your money out without paying a steep price. That leaves many retirees stuck in underperforming investments with no easy way out. Here is a real example. A woman had the majority of her savings in a variable annuity with an income rider. She got it from an advisor at a bank. Here's the kicker. Her pension and Social Security already covered her needs. Her real goal was to leave a legacy for her son. The annuity was the exact opposite of what she needed, but she was locked into it. Let me show you the math on typical annuity fees. Many variable annuities charge 2 to 3% annually in combined fees. That includes mortality and expense charges, administrative fees, fund expenses, and income rider costs. On a $300,000 annuity, that is $6,000 to $9,000 per year in fees. Over 20 years, you pay between $120,000 and $180,000 just in fees before accounting for opportunity cost. Compare that to a simple low-cost index fund charging 0.03% annually. On $300,000, that is $90 per year. Over 20 years, you pay $1,800 in fees. The difference between the annuity and the index fund is over $118,000 in fees alone. Asset number 6, vacation homes. Owning a vacation home is a dream for many retirees, a place for family, relaxation, and making memories. But for a lot of people, that dream quickly becomes a financial burden. Many retirees underestimate the true cost of ownership. Beyond the mortgage or purchase price, there are property taxes, upkeep, insurance, utilities, and repairs. Most people end up using the property far less than they imagine. Let me show you the numbers. A modest vacation home might cost $400,000. Add annual property taxes of $6,000, insurance of $3,000, utilities of $4,000, and maintenance of $5,000. That is $18,000 per year in carrying costs. Over 20 years, you spend $360,000 just maintaining the property. Add the original purchase and you are at $760,000 for a property you use maybe 6 weeks per year. Wealthier retirees take a different approach. They recognize it is usually more efficient to rent luxury when they want instead of carrying the ongoing cost of ownership. Renting gives them flexibility and freedom. They can travel where they want, when they want, without being tied to a property that sits empty most of the year.